Wait, give it like 5 seconds so you can crop it out.
Hi, I'm here with Rayanne, and we are going to be going through some of the issues that she is having recently and see if we can help her with problem management skills. So how are you today, Rayanne?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So what are some of the issues that you find that you're having?
I think the biggest issue I'm having right now is just balancing like school with having fun because it's so busy because I'm taking my regular nursing courses and then on top of that I'm taking some BCIT courses, so it's just like crazy workload. I don't have a lot of time to just chill, so I find myself a lot more stressed out this semester than other semesters, and graduation's coming up too, so it's like been a whole thing.
How's your workload this semester compared to past semesters?
It's more, I think, mainly because I'm taking extra courses. Like, it's the same amount of courses in the program, but I'm taking 2 extra courses on top because I thought that this semester was going to be a break, because that's what everyone kind of said, that it was going to be chill and easy because it's the last semester, but it wasn't. So I kind of screwed myself over by adding 2 classes on top that they're not a heavy workload, but they have like papers and big assignments in them. So I think that's what makes it heavier or like busier.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that like you might be having issues with time management?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happens is I go, and then when I crash or I burn out, like I burn out really hard. So then I end up taking more time off than, like I end up taking like a whole day off or like 2 days off instead of doing a little bit of work every day, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
That's understandable. I can get that. Makes sense. So would you, like, do you use agendas or anything like that, or like checklists?
I used to use Excel spreadsheet and I would like make my own checklist. I did that the last couple semesters, but this semester I've just been forgetting to check things off. Like I had made one, but I just haven't been checking it off. So yeah, I'm not very good with planners. It's gonna fly by the seat of my pants.
I like that. So what would you think would benefit you more? Do you think like working more, not slowly on projects, but doing things like for less time each day so that you don't get that burnout, so that you don't have the 2 days or 1 or 2 full days off?
Yeah, probably. Like just time managing better, probably. And I think motivation is like a hard thing. If I'm not it's almost like if I'm not feeling pressed for time, then the motivation to get work done isn't there. So I kind of like double screw myself over, which is so bad to say. But like if I don't have a deadline or something, then I'll be like, oh, out of sight, out of mind, until I have to do it. And then I'm like, what am I doing?
And what motivates you?
Mostly, I think just like deadlines. Like if they're like, you have a discussion post. Like if someone were to say, if you have a discussion post due Sunday, then I'm not gonna do it till like Saturday or Sunday. But if it's like earlier, does that make sense? If it's like earlier, then I'll do it earlier. If it's later, I'll like put it off to do like other stuff. And then in the evening, I get like so tired and I'm just like, I just want to watch a movie and lay in my bed. But yeah, so then I think that all mixed together makes me have time management problems.
Time management problems.
Yeah.
What would you think would help you to balance kind of more school and more play? Like, what would motivate you to do school, and then what would motivate you to kind of get out of the school routine?
Probably, like, if I had something to look forward to, I think if I change the way I thought about school and be like, okay, on Friday we made plans with our friends at like, me talking as we, but I made plans with my friends at 7, so that's like not like a reward, but that's a goal, I guess, that you can work towards. It's like, okay, so in order to hang out with my friends at 7, then I need to get like these things done. So then I kind of get ahead of the curve, I guess. Like create different deadlines for myself would probably be the most helpful, I think.
Would you say you thrive on deadlines then?
I thrive on deadlines. I'm not good with like online school where it's like flexible, like you hand it in whenever, it's self-paced. I'm not good with that because I won't do it. So I need to have like a hard deadline in order to succeed.
That makes sense. And so, I mean, I guess that's good for school then if you have deadlines and for friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Not friendship deadlines.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything outside of friends and school that motivates you?
Oh, well, like every week I make a little dinner every week from a different country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, okay, usually it's Saturdays or Fridays. I pick a day, and then the morning I either do homework or I like get ready, and then in the afternoon I spend like cooking. So then that's also like a reward. If I know that Saturday I only have like 3 hours or like 2 hours to do homework, then I have to, it kind of puts like a flame under me to like get going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no,
Okay, I kind of forgot what the question was.
No. That's fine. Well, it's good that you have motivations outside of just doing schoolwork, and like you have kind of like a social life, so it's not just like homework and then nothing where you're kind of caught in like a
depressing.
Yeah, you have nothing to look forward to. Okay. So you worked out today. How was that?
It was good.
It was good.
Gassed from that. I think like, I don't know. That's another thing that I'm like, I have to have routine. So if I just were to be by myself alone, and if there's a gym and I live by myself and there's a gym like in the room that I was in, I would not work out probably unless I had like a schedule, because I fall off of it so often, because if I'm like busy or whatever, I'm not the type to wake up like early to work out. So if I'm super busy, like especially during exams and stuff, like I'll go without working out for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh. And then I work out again, and I'm so tired, and like, or not even tired, but I'm just like sore and like physically exhausted for like 3 days, because your body's like not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and like again, motivation. Is the motivation there? Not really.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see, because like you're mentioning that like motivation for deadlines and stuff for school is like what motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
But what would be the motivator for you to be consistent in working out and that kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Because if you put, let's say, working out as much of an importance as those deadlines of like schoolwork, do you think you would be more successful then?
Probably. Honestly, I think like what would probably be the most helpful for me, like to connect the two, would be like having someone to keep you accountable, because deadlines to me are like my personal accountability, so I don't have to rely on like someone else to meet those deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
But with working out, it's like you don't have a deadline to work out, you know? So like probably having somebody who's like there and they're like, okay, no, like we're working out today, then I'm like, okay, sure. Or if I think another thing I struggle with too is like not knowing what to do when you're working out, because I'm like, I hate upper body. I don't like working out upper body because I'm not strong in my upper body, so I'm less likely to work out my upper body, so it just becomes like lower body cardio, which is like so bad, and then like really light upper body. So it's like, I think this is like, I'm going like all over the place.
You do what you gotta do.
But I think to help me would be having somebody to like keep me accountable, and then it'll become a routine, which I also thrive on routine. Like I need routine. That would be helpful. And then like having a program to follow, because sitting there and being like, okay, well I warmed up but now I don't know what exercises to do. And then I think that ties back into deadlines, because it's like, or checklists even. If I have to pick like exercises, I don't usually pick them at the beginning, kind of pick as I go based on like how I feel. But then that's when you end up only doing like 3 exercises, and then you dilly-dally, and then your workout ends up being like an hour and a half. And then I'm like, oh, it takes so long to work out. So then I don't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so talked about dilly-dallying.
Yeah. Have you seen a pattern?
No. Yes, that's my question. Okay, so with other people keeping you accountable for working out,
Yeah.
what would happen then, let's say, if they all of a sudden stopped working out and they weren't there to keep you accountable? What would you do?
I think it would depend. Like, for me too, I think it's like similar, is like if I'm not seeing progress, like physical progress from working out, then it's like it didn't happen, which I think is like similar for a lot of people. So if there was no physical progress, then like I'd probably also just be like, whatever, like I'll just do what feels right, which would be like going for a walk twice a week or something. But if I was like in a set routine, like for an extended period of time, like it's been over probably like 6 weeks would be like, for me, I'd need to be over 6 weeks, and I'm like feeling really good, I can see like a difference, and like when I'm lifting or whatever, I can feel like I'm stronger, then I'd be probably able to stick to routine. But I could see myself like not working out as much. Like I'd probably work out still because I'd want to like maintain, because that would be like my motivating factor then, would be like how it looks and how it feels. But like if that were to happen during exams or like the week before exams, then I probably would just like stop during exam week because I'd be so busy, and then that routine's like lost. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I can see intrinsic motivation for like you feeling strong, but also the extrinsic of like you looking strong and like seeing that reward. Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering, because you seem very like dedicated to school, and like especially with like the grades you get, you want to like maintain those. So thinking about that, it would be like beneficial if we could get that motivation from school and those deadlines and like transfer it over to the physical activity aspect.
Yeah, probably, honestly, because I've done like workout programming before, and that works a lot better for me than also like working out with somebody. Like if you have someone pushing you, like I give up so easily mentally, like I'm just not mentally strong in that way. So if you have like the combination of like a guide or like somebody telling you what to do, and I have someone there, I'm more likely to like try harder and like push more than if I was by myself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's just hard because with like working out, it's not like school, because school is more like short-term reward, where it's like you study for a week, you get an A, whereas like like working out, it's like you have to like dedicate for like a longer period of time. So I don't know, maybe that's just like a mental thing.
So you would benefit more off of having like a set routine, especially for like school and working out, and for like a workout plan, you would benefit with somebody having them make one for you, so that you're able to kind of see what you need to do that day and kind of have less dilly-dally then, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah. That's exactly what I need.
Okay. Is there anything that like you see being like hindering to you not being physically active, like either like mentally or anything like that?
I don't even know. I think it's like, it kind of depends on like the mood, the vibe, the mood. So like, I think that's why routine is so important for me, is like if I don't have a routine, then I'm less, like it's hard to start, you know what I mean? So like that would probably be a barrier for me, is like if I just getting to like just starting would be hard. So I think it also depends on like my mood, like how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling like depressed, like not even depressed, but like lazy, I guess. Like lazy and just like, oh, cozy, like I just want to lay in my bed, then I'm not gonna start to work out.
Mm-hmm.
So like getting over that hump of like having a reason to go, I guess, would be a barrier for me. And yeah, I don't really know what else would be a barrier. I feel like it's just me. You know? Like if I just had like I think it's just getting over the bump of starting is like what the barrier is. It's like a mental thing more than like, oh, I don't have access to a gym, or like, I don't know, like I physically can't work out like crazy because I have like a chronic disease or something. I think it's just like a mental thing, or I'm like, I don't have an excuse. I'm just gonna lay in bed.
So then looking back, like having a friend there, somebody with you to work out, would help you get over that mental block that you are having then for working out.
Yeah, for sure, I think. Because then it's somebody else being like, no, like, we're, like, it's almost like, in my mind, when someone's telling me, like, no, you have to, like, we're going to right now, then I'm like, okay, like, I have to, so I'm just going to do it. Whereas in my head, I can, like, negotiate with myself not to. I'm like, we should work out. I'm like, no.
Is there any other situations in life where you find that there's like a mental block barrier that you've had?
Or like I don't want to do something that I like. My life is like school, and that's it. So I'm like, maybe like trying hobbies, like doing things. Well, also that's not even just like a time thing, but it's also, or a mental thing, it's also like a money thing. Like I'm not gonna spend money to like take a pottery class. Do you know what I mean? Like what if you don't like, and it's expensive, and I'm in school, so it's like that's kind of different. But mental blocks, maybe just like, yeah, I don't know, trying new things, like a hobby. I guess, so basically like hobbies, like things that I would want to try or like do by myself. I guess that would be like a mental thing where I'm just like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Do you find that you thrive more than doing things with other people? Like you feel kind of less awkward and you're more like
comfortable?
Yeah.
If it's something like brand new, like that I've never had experience in and I don't know what to expect, then yeah, like it's like parking somewhere I've never been, where I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable, like not even uncomfortable, but I get like nervous about parking somewhere I've never parked. Does that make sense? So it's like doing new things that I have no idea like what to expect, or like what it's gonna be like, or who's gonna be there. Like I definitely need like a comfort person like the first time or whatever, but I usually, like if I had to do something by myself, like I could do it. But even like going to the grocery store, like I hate going to the grocery store, but by myself. But I think it's because I'm like, I just like having company. I don't know, maybe it's a social anxiety thing. I don't think it is, but I think it's like, I just enjoy having company to do stuff with. Like it's more entertaining for me. I don't know. So I don't know if that's like a mental bump. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Let's say you had motivation to go to the gym. Do you think your social anxiety would make you not want to go there, or since you've been there already before, you'd be like, oh, it's no big deal?
I think if it was a gym I've been to before, I would go at times that it wasn't busy by myself. Because I hate the awkwardness of like waiting for a machine or just standing around and not knowing what to do. That I would hate, but I could go by myself like really early in the morning or in the evening, or not even the evening because the gym's busy then, but like midday or something random. That would be fine, but also I think again, like going to the gym, what would help is having an established routine. So when I go to the gym, I know what machines I'm going to be hitting, I know what I need to, like, what sets I'm gonna be doing, and it's a get in, get out situation. I don't like dilly-dallying at the gym. I'm finding it here because it's my own space, but at the gym, it's awkward, I think. I think I make it awkward because I don't want to talk to people when I'm in the gym. I just want to do my thing and get out, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, like, in the gym, too, I find I've gone by myself before, and I don't perform as well if there isn't another person there that I know. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to push myself as hard, which is a mental thing. I'm like, I'll give up. I'm good.
That's interesting, though, because, like, you're mentioning how you don't dilly-dally as much in, like, a public gym because you're like, you just want to get in, get out. But then when you're at home and you're comfortable, you just dilly-dally, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, do you take those steps and go to a public gym?
Yeah.
Like, just as a scenario here. But then you're also saying that you don't, like, you wouldn't push yourself as hard if somebody weren't to be there with you.
Yeah. It's like a catch-22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one do I choose?
Literally. I think, I don't know. I like, the thing that I do really like about the gym is the options. Like, there's so many machines you can use that I did use a lot when I was going to the gym consistently. So that's really great. I love cable machines, which we don't have here, obviously. I love, like, I don't even know, like, the Stairmaster. I don't even use a Stairmaster. But just, like, having options is nice, because then you can do more, like, you can kind of spread out the variety of your workout throughout the week instead of doing the same thing over and over and over. So I do enjoy that about the gym. I just don't think, I don't know. I don't know if I would go by myself consistently. Like, I would go if I had to go by myself. But I think I would rather have someone there with me.
Okay. There's no issue with that. Somebody else keeping you accountable. I think it may be an issue if other people had to keep you accountable for school.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the important things, like, you do a good job of keeping yourself accountable, whereas with things that are, like, not of as much importance, you're like, oh, well, I'd like to have somebody else there just for personal enjoyment, which is totally fine.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what it is personal enjoyment. I just have more fun. Because I think I'm an extrovert rather than an introvert, so I enjoy the company of others rather than the company of myself. Because I just get bored. So it's more fun to go to the gym with somebody else. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like I'm contradicting myself. This conversation. Yeah.
Okay. So you are the bridesmaid of a couple weddings this year. How's it going with one in particular that one of the bachelorette parties isn't planned and you're not really the maid of honor? Like, how does it make you feel, especially after being maid of honor of a couple other weddings?
Big flags. I think it's just, like, weird to be, like, I'm so used to being in a different position. Not that, like, it's like, but I don't want to overstep on her toes and be like, oh, this is, like, what I did and what I found helpful, and, like, you should have this done by now, because it's not really, like, she should figure it out, like, we're all adults, like, you can figure out your own job thing, but it's, like, hard, which is interesting, because I'm not, actually, that's a lie, I totally do take over, like, school projects and stuff, but, yeah, because I think I'm just, like, I know how to make it good, and, like, how to make it fun, because I've done it before, like, so, like, I've planned so many, so, but I've, like, planned them, I know how it works, I know where to go, like, all that stuff, so it's frustrating for me, like, sit back and just be like, okay, like, it's February, it's March, like, let's get going. It's hard, and then it's awkward, too, because she's, like, she's not very responsive to input, so I kind of just backed off for, like, 2 months, and I was like, whatever, like, figure out what you want to do, and if you need help, like, I'll totally help, I'm totally open to that. but it is awkward because she kind of has a reputation of not being super organized and being a bit of like having problems with like doing things on time. So I'm just like I could help you, but I don't want to like intrude. Like I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable or annoyed, because I guess it's more I don't want you to feel as though I'm taking over your job, because I don't want to do that. So I just haven't texted her. But I should. I don't know. It's just like a situation.
Do you find that, well, you mentioned that like you didn't want to step on her toes, or you didn't want her to feel that you were taking her job or her role as maid of honor. But what if you like maybe took those steps and not even made a spreadsheet, but put down a couple different ideas, a couple different hotels, and especially because you're experienced with where the bachelorette party is, being like, hey, like maybe this is what we should do. I talked to the bride, like she wants to go to all these different places, and kind of like almost lay it out in front of her so that she's able to kind of build off of something.
I think the problem is like that would help, I think, because then it's like, here's some suggestions without being like, so you need to like I think what's awkward is like, or it's not even awkward, I think the problem is that there's no communication, and the communication's like shifty almost, where it's like, do you have stuff planned? Like I don't know if you have stuff planned, and then she's like, yeah, thanks. Like it's not, there's no expanding. If I'm like, oh, what do you have planned? It's like, oh, just stuff. Like, so it's like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of just like abrupt. So it's like I don't actually know like if you've planned anything, or like if you haven't, it's like totally booked and you're just waiting for something. It's awkward because I don't want her to feel like, okay, like relax. You know.
Do you find it would be easier for you to know what's going on if you like asked her to expand, or has she not like just not expanded at all?
Yeah, I think it's more like the vibe is awkward. Like I think I don't know, it's text, so it's hard to like read the tone over text, but I think it is like she feels, it sounds as though when I ask her like, oh, do you need help with this, or do you need help with that, it's just kind of like, nope. There's no like like it's awkward to ask like, oh, like are you sure, because then she'll be like, no, like that's the vibe. And it's like, no, like I got it, like don't worry about it, like just stop asking. Do you know?
This is through text though, right?
This is through text, so it's like hard. I've tried in person before, but like I don't know, it's just like, it's like kind of the same thing. She's not like rude or anything like that, obviously, but it is like kind of like similar, where it's just like, oh yeah, and you're like, give me something to work with. Yeah.
That can definitely be difficult. Yeah, I was thinking like maybe even meet up with her at a coffee shop, but if like you would have to be prepared for that though. You couldn't just kind of, I mean you could show up with your phone, but like you would kind of want a laptop to have everything like set out. Yeah.
I mean, I probably could just, I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, it's not that deep. Like it's not that deep. She'll figure it out like regardless, and maybe I should just text her and be like, if you need help with anything, like let me know and I can give you suggestions and stuff, because I know a lot of great places, and not like that sounds like silly, but like I know places that can help you, like make it easier if you need suggestions, or like if you need help, and then at least it's out there, and then like the ball's in her court, you know. But I'm also like, I get stressed when plans haven't been made, I guess. Like, yeah, I just want to know like, when are we going, how long are we going for, do I need to take time off of work, like that stuff.
All I can say is that's difficult, because it's as much as I want to advice give, which I shouldn't, it's just a difficult situation where the communication isn't good, and even the communication in person.
Yeah.
Like if you take out the text and you just like communicate in person, it's not even there. Yeah, I would honestly just say maybe even try and just meet up with her, and if that doesn't work, then it's just, I don't know, like maybe not to step on her toes, but like what if you did plan
part of it
and like some of like the other bridesmaids could help you with that, so it's not like you trying to take over her spot, it's like you guys coming together collaboratively. Do you think like that might work out better?
I wonder if it'd be helpful, or I don't know, because I've known her for a long time, but I don't know her very well, if that makes sense. So I don't know if because another thing I could do, I guess, would be to message into the group chat that we have and just be like, hey, like, what do you need us to do to help you? Do you know what I mean? In front of, like, not in like in front of everybody, but then that way we're all a part of the conversation. And then if she says, oh, nothing, then it's kind of okay, then whatever, I tried, like balls in your court now kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just awkward to keep asking, I think, because then she's like, no, like I literally said it's fine. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
What if rather than saying like, is there anything I can do to help, like just think of some of the generic things that you need in order to like have like a bachelorette party, and just be like, hey, like have you gotten this yet, or have you gotten this? Being like, I think it should be like more of an open-ended question, because what you're experiencing is like her being like, no, it's okay, and like no, and no explanation, which is what you need.
Right.
So if you were to word it in a way where she had to explain, like it wasn't just a yes or a no, I feel like do you think there would be better communication?
Honestly, probably. Like that would probably be better, because you're right. Like the way that I ask the question, it's very like yes or no. It doesn't. The question doesn't demand an expanded answer. So that would probably be better, honestly, to just ask something along the lines of, what are you thinking for activities, or something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try that. I feel like that would work.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And for our last conversation topic, I thought I'd bring this up because it seems like you're very passionate about it.
Oh.
But since you're graduating soon,
Oh.
Working in the hospital, how do you feel that do your values and beliefs match up with what is asked of you in the hospital in some wards?
In some units? Yeah, that's a hard one. Well, it's not a hard one because I know the answer. But it sucks because, like, in another life, I would be like a maternity nurse or palliative. I really enjoy those units because they're maternity super happy. Like most of the time, when it's sad, it's really sad. But most of the time, it's really happy. You're dealing with young people, generally healthy, stepping into a new area of life. Like that's super exciting, and you get to be a part of that and guide them through it. That's awesome. But I think just like the there's just different values there that don't align with my personal beliefs, and like I would go into moral dilemma. I think because they say you can step out of care if you don't think you can provide adequate care for them, but it's not the problem that I wouldn't be able to provide adequate care for someone. It's more that I would feel it would be like morally distressing, I guess, because I would feel like I'm going against what I believe in because of a job. So like it's just not for me. Like those things definitely aren't for me. So it's kind of like I've chosen to limit my job choices because of that. So that kind of sucks in a way, but also it's kind of just how it is. Like there's so many avenues you could go down. But yeah, I don't know. Healthcare kind of sucks right now, so it's like annoying. It's just one thing after another that you have to deal with and it's an awkward place to have a belief system because everyone just wants you to go with the flow with what is accepted, I guess. So then when you don't go along with that, or you disagree with something, you're definitely looked down on for it, and it makes it awkward and outs you. And then people, like, nurses love to gossip, but that's just a thing. So then, like, people talk about you and stuff, which is, like, whatever, I can deal with that. But it doesn't make it helpful for, like, what I worry about is, like, if I make my values or beliefs, like, known too much, then people won't want to work with me. And then I'm kind of left, like, to my own devices, which doesn't work on a unit. So that's annoying. Not even annoying, it's just like, why? You know? Yeah.
I find that interesting. What are the principles of being a nurse? And, like with in regards to, like, nurses around you and, like, how they should be treated.
What do you mean? Like, they should, like, they expect to be treated a certain way kind of thing? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, like, shouldn't you feel respected regardless of your values and beliefs being different from them?
Well, you would think so, because I think everybody has their own belief system and value system, like, obviously. So, like, I'm not gonna look down on you for something that you believe in that's different from mine, because not to be like, ugh, but I just personally don't care, really. Like, that's just the way that you're living your life, and that's great, whatever. But I'm not gonna look down on you for it if it was a coworker or even a patient. Like, I'm not gonna look down on somebody because their belief system is different from mine. But I think, I don't know, people just love to judge, and they love to, like, be, what's the word? Just be, like, over analytical of things that they don't agree with or they don't understand. Like, there's very little compassion for healthcare workers who don't agree with a lot that's happening. And that's, like, there's so many different things that are happening that, like, I don't agree with. And I think a lot of people don't either. But there's, like, if you don't agree with it, then, like, you're a bad person, or you're, like, a baby because you can't handle that, or whatever. And it's, like, it's just annoying because okay, I keep saying annoying, but that's not even the right word. It's frustrating because I'm still trying, and I chose not to go into certain areas. So, because I know that I would feel, like, morally distressed for doing certain things that I have to do on those units that I don't personally agree with. So, like, I've already stepped out of those, but then, like, other things, there's always going to be something in healthcare that I just probably wouldn't agree with, which sounds so bad, but it's like any job, really, or one small thing, you're like, I don't know if I agree with that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just frustrating when it's like I'm trying to keep the peace and do what I need to do, or pick a job or unit that I would be best fitted for me and my personal beliefs. But then it's like you're still gonna deal with, like, awkwardness between your coworkers and stuff. So I usually just don't talk about it with them, because I'm like, it's not really any of your business, to be honest. And, like, we're a lot of the time, like, I've been close with friends from work, but because I'm so new, I haven't, like, formed solid relationships outside of work. So it's like it doesn't matter to me, like, or it shouldn't matter to you whether or not you know what my belief system is.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? That sounds
No,
like
that
kind of
makes sense.
convoluted and, like, wacky, but
Yeah, no, it's good that, like, you are so strong-willed about your beliefs, and you, like, understand, like, where you would be good in at the hospital and where, like, you think that you wouldn't, and especially since you have tried those units previously in your schooling with clinical and stuff like that. I heard what you said about people shouldn't care about your values and beliefs because, like, theirs don't bother you and vice versa kind of thing. Taking that, if you were to go into maternity, shouldn't that be the same thing? Like, if you weren't to agree with somebody or something that somebody wants, it isn't up to you? It's kind of like, do you know
I
what
see
I mean?
what you mean. Like, if I'm caring, do you mean like for a patient? Like, if a patient decides to do something that I don't agree with, like, I should still be able to care for them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, I would, but I think it just like facilitating that, like, then I had a hand in it, is how I view it. So I don't care if like you're gonna do what you gotta do. Like, that's fine. It's not my. I didn't see anything. It's none of my business. But the part that I would struggle with is like if I facilitated it or if I had something to do with it. Then that's when I would be like, I had a part in something that I morally don't agree with, and I helped it happen. You know?
Yeah.
So that's, and then, you know, and that wouldn't like put a bias, because I think people are really worried about like, oh, the bias then, like you're gonna have a bias towards somebody. I don't have a problem with that, and I know that because I've dealt with that before, where I'm like, oh, this goes against my direct beliefs, but I was in school at the time or whatever, so I didn't have a choice. But it didn't create a bias. Like, to me, I'm like, I'm still gonna give you the best care that I can give you. But when it's certain things that like directly go against my beliefs, and I know that that's what they came in with, or whatever it may be, like I have prior knowledge that this is something's about to happen that I don't agree with, then like it would go against my values to facilitate something that I morally don't agree with. Does that make sense? I
get that. It's almost like you're connected with that because you aided in that. Yeah. Not that even it was the decision.
Yeah, no.
But they already made the decision and you were like, yeah, I'll help you with that.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
So
like,
it's
that's
almost
not
guilt.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Like, that's, someone else can do that whose morals align with theirs, but that's kind of like why I stepped out of like not picking maternity, not picking end of life care or like palliative, and like there's so many other units too that I'm like, oh, that probably wouldn't be a great fit for me because my belief system, my values don't align with most people on the unit. And so it would just create tension probably, and like awkwardness if I had to be like, you know, like this situation in particular doesn't align with my belief system, so can you take this patient for me? Then your coworkers are gonna be like, what? Like, why are you here then? You know? Yeah.
I just think they shouldn't judge then.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, if only it were that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. I love it. I love nursing.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time, and I hope that we could help you with something at least.
Yeah, no, it was a good clarifying conversation.
Clarifying conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks.
You're welcome.